Hi everyone, welcome back, and this is episode 3, and today I am joined by our lovely Georgina Hopwood.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm cold, but I'm good. Would you like to introduce yourself for people who don't know who you are?
Yeah, so hi, I'm Georgina. I've been competing in pageants for six years now. Yeah, 6 years in October will be since the first time I competed in Miss Teen GB in 2019, which seems like ages ago now. And I recently competed in Miss Pageant Girl UK, and I came first runner-up.
Yay!
My little sash. And I'm currently just taking a little bit of a break. But in my spare time, I'm a children's nurse, so I work in children's intensive care in like my day-to-day life. And I am a big bookaholic. I love reading romance books and fantasy books, and that's literally all I do with my spare time. And I love coffee. So there we go. There's my little about me.
Book reading fueled by coffee.
Yeah, pretty much. It has to be an iced coffee though. It can't be a hot coffee. It has to be an iced coffee.
Oh, no hot coffee at all?
No, not a hot coffee gal.
Not for you. Fair. Why did you want to get involved? What attracted you to my little project here?
So I kind of first discovered that I was bisexual three years ago now, I think. I kind of suspected it when I was in high school. When I was about 16, and then kind of COVID happened and I didn't really see anybody because I finished my GCSEs, went into my A-levels, and then the world shut down, so I wasn't really seeing anybody anymore. And I just kind of had this inkling of, I was like, I really like boys, but I was like, I also kind of like girls as well, and I wasn't really too sure. I was a bit confused at that time, and it wasn't something that I really knew a lot about. And then kind of entered the world of pageantry, people like yourself, and doing, like the By the By project. And I was like, oh, I'm learning a bit more about kind of like how I feel now. And I thought it's really important for ourselves as bisexuals to actually have that visibility for people to understand what it's like. So for me, I get it a lot where I am in a straight relationship with my nerdy gamer boyfriend, which seems to be a bit of a stereotype. Yeah, with the longish brown hair, golden retriever boy. And a lot of people go, well, you can't be bisexual because you're in a straight relationship. And I'm like, well, that's not really how it works. It doesn't stop me from being attracted to, like I'm not attracted to other people because I'm in a relationship. But before it was like that didn't stop me from being attracted to both boys and girls. I think I first noticed it. I was like really attracted to my best friend. And I was like, whoa, this is a bit scary because I didn't understand it at that point. And I think because a lot of people seem to have this misconception and you don't really seem to fit in anywhere because you like both, I think it's important for us to actually talk about that. And it's a conversation that I have to have a lot. And I thought being involved in the project was really important, and actually being able to share my own experience because it might make somebody else feel a bit more comfortable within themselves.
Yeah, definitely. It is with you saying you don't really feel like you fit in sort of on either side, like, because it is a weird sort of spot to sit in. Like, I was saying this when I was recording one of the previous episodes with one of the girls. I don't like, I've been surrounded by the LGBT community basically all my life. Like, I did Amdram really young. I then went on to dance college. I worked at Disneyland. So I've been in I was cabin crew. So I've always been surrounded by people, but I've never really felt part of it. But at the same time, you're like, well, my pals who are like straight as a knife edge, I'm like, still, I don't fully get you either. So yeah, you kind of, it's always a sort of balancing act in your head, isn't it? Like, as to where you should sit.
As to where you are with everyone. And that I've been a lot more kind of involved with the LGBTQ community a lot more in the last few years, I think, since I've left school. But when I was at school, so like my family come from a generation where it wasn't necessarily accepted to be as a part of the LGBTQ community. But my family are very accepting. My parents are literally like, we don't mind. As long as you're happy, we're happy, which is, you know, that's really nice. But I know that there's so many other people whose families come from that generation where it wasn't the norm, who still don't fully understand what it means. And, you know, like, education's really important. And whenever I was at school, I didn't really know much. So I went to school with a lot of people who were transgender. And at that time, I had no idea what that was. And it wasn't really information that was readily available to me. And, you know, like, I started learning more about people who were in lesbian relationships and gay relationships. And I, you know, when you're a bit like, oh, I don't really know much about this. And then as I was getting older, that's when I kind of realized that I was within that group. I don't know how else to put it, within the LGBT community.
Yeah.
And since I've left school, I've been to a couple of prides now, mainly Swindon Wiltshire Pride. I go with Hannah Golding, and
She's a
you know,
working gal.
she is. I've volunteered the last 3 years with her, and it's actually a community that when I've been within, I've felt the safest and I've actually felt the most at home. A lot of people seem to have this stereotype that the people that go to Pride are strange and, you know, like, they don't really fit in with anybody. They're things that I've heard, but actually they are the loveliest and nicest people that I've ever met. Everybody's so happy to be there, you know, and everybody's actually able to express themselves and things like that. But it's not, I'd say I've not always had the best experience. So somebody that I went to university with, whenever I was quite involved in pageants, I'm still very involved now, but like, I'm taking a bit of a break, turned around to me before we were supposed to be going to Pride together and said, what was it? They said to me, oh, please don't do the whole sash thing around me. And I was like, hold on a second. Like, you're basically gatekeeping Pride for just yourself. And this person was a member of the LGBT community. And I felt really like kind of shot down. And granted, at that time, that person didn't know. I wasn't very openly out. I hadn't really come to terms with my own sexuality at that point. But at the same time, they turned around to me and said, well, Pride's for everyone, but it's not about everyone. And I was like, it's supposed to be a community where, exactly, I was like, it's a community where everybody can be themselves and it's for everybody to celebrate themselves. So I guess I kind of started off not feeling welcome, but I think that was because I wasn't surrounding myself with the right people. Does that make sense?
Yeah. You can still have the wrong people within the community. There's definitely people that exist that aren't the greatest, but I agree that it is one of the, do you know what it is for me? I think it's one of the places that you feel like you can just have fun and be yourself and not just not care about, like, I would love to wear what I wore to Pride on a daily basis, but the looks that I would get. No.
Sometimes the neon green sparkly outfit is not normal everyday attire.
And 17 colours of your eyeshadow is just not ideal for just walking down the street. But that's the joy of it, isn't it? Like, you can just do exactly what you want, be exactly who you want to be, and everyone's there to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Love it.
Pretty much.
I get to go this year as well. It normally always falls on the same weekend as a Pageant Girl Weekender, but I get to go to ours this year. Yay! So excited.
I know, I'm like already planning for next year. I think the only reason I didn't go to my local one last weekend was because I was between 2 shifts and I was like, I can't. It's just, it takes so much energy. No. Like, I love it, but I can't.
It's a shift.
It is. It might as well be a whole shift. Like, you're there at God knows whatever time it starts. I think when I volunteered at the start of August, I was there from like 7:30 in the morning, and then I think I got back at like midnight, I think.
No, you can't do that between work. No way.
So yeah, I was like, and then I've got to get up for 6 at 6 for work, and no, that's not happening.
That's even if you sleep, because after days like that, I always find like I'm so overtired that I'm like, see every hour. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Why
pretty much.
Why
Yeah. I was like, let's just take the day instead and just chill. But even then, I haven't really seen anything about it, so who knows?
Who knows?
Just not a big one. Yeah.
It's because you weren't there.
No, it's because I wasn't there putting all the stuff on social media and saying, hey guys, come on, get yourselves here.
You'd said that you are in a relationship. Did you realize before or during relationship?
I think I had the feelings before, but realized during my relationship. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've been in a relationship with my current partner since actually this year will be 6 years we've been together. So we've been together quite a while. And me having that realization never changed anything. But I think realizing during the middle, I was a bit like, oh, okay, this is a new thing for me. But the fact that I feel accepted within my own relationship, my family and my friends, nothing's felt any different for me. And I think because I had that relationship, because that realization while I was in a relationship, it's not had that big an impact on my life and how I view my own identity, because I don't feel as lost.
Yeah,
If
you've
that
got like
kind
a
of
sense of
makes
stability.
Yeah, it didn't make me feel like I didn't know where I was going or anything like that. I'm like, okay, cool. This is part of my identity and who I am. My friends who I'm really close with. I mean, I say you have friends who I'm really close with. I think pretty much everybody knows now, because it's not like I've not put it on my Instagram and stuff. But I never really made that big of a deal about my realization because of the fact that it's not that big a role in my life. If I'd been single at the time, it probably would have been more of a big deal. But for me, it's just who I am, and I don't feel like it's something that I need to announce to the world. But also at the same time, you know, I feel like the fact that I'm comfortable to be able to speak to other people about that is a privilege, because I know there are so many other people who can't be open with their partners, their friends, their family about how they identify, because it simply just isn't safe for them. So, you know, I do feel very privileged that I can just drop it into conversation if anybody asks me about it, and I can just say, yeah, this is how I identify with my sexuality, is that I am bisexual. But yeah, I'm happy, you know, like that's the main thing. It's not had an impact. So yeah.
And I suppose his reaction is kind of the ideal reaction anyway, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
Like, okay, do you want a cup of tea? Like, just life goes on as normal, and
Yeah.
you can't
It
really
wasn't.
wish for anything else. Like,
No,
nothing changes,
not at
and
all.
that's perfect.
Yeah. And I know that, you know, like that is, I'm very lucky to be in that position. You know, I know there are probably people who, if they came out to their partner when they've identified their own sexuality, that it could upend their entire life as they know it at that point. You know, like it could make them unsafe, make them unhappy. It could make their relationships crumble. So yeah, it was kind of like the perfect reaction. And it's just, we just go on as it is. And if anything, he likes to be funny about it. And, you know, like if I bring it up, he makes jokes, but like nice jokes. Does that make sense? Like they're not rude or anything like that. I don't know how else to put it, but typical boy jokes sometimes.
I've got a friend whose husband jokes that, oh, well, I must be really hot because you fancy everybody, so I must be like super.
Yeah, things like that.
You'd said in like the pre-questions about coming to terms with it. Did that take a lot for you, or was it quite, I mean, you seem to have like a really good support system, so was it quite easy to come to terms with it, or did you have anything that you struggled with? I mean, I feel like it's something that I'm constantly like reevaluating. Was there anything that
I think yes, it took a little while because I didn't necessarily understand it at first. But I think because I've been in a relationship, it's not really something that I've explored. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And there are days that I think like this is going to sound really strange, but I don't know how else to put it. There are days that sometimes I think that I feel like I'm not, even though
It's
I've
not strange.
accepted.
It's so not strange.
Yeah, like, I don't know how else to put it. It's
I
like some
know.
days I do feel like I'm not bisexual, and I think, oh God, like, have I come to terms with something that I'm not? And then I have other days where I realise I'm like, but I am.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd say
It's
I'm
like the
not
imposter syndrome's
completely.
real.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And I have days where I feel like I'm not settled, and then I have other days where I am. But it's not something that consumes my life. It's not something that consumes my everyday thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, like, I had friends to speak to. I had friends who were bisexual that I was able to speak to at the time. And, you know, like, this is how I'm feeling. I think this is how I'm identifying. And it wasn't necessarily for somebody else to say, you are. It was
Mm-hmm.
just for somebody else to kind of like give me that support to say, okay, that's
Mm-hmm.
okay to feel like that. You don't have to be scared or anything like that. Like, it's normal to have those sorts of feelings. And, you know, as I said, and this is the other thing that people go, it's like, you only ever been in a relationship with a boy, like, how do you know? And I'm like, but that's not necessarily what it is. I don't have to have that actual
Yeah.
physical relationship with that person to still feel
Yeah.
like, okay, I do like girls though. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you know, sometimes I do look at the fact that we have men around us and I go, if I wasn't with my boyfriend, I definitely wouldn't want to be with a man. But that's just the time that we're in at the minute. There's just not a
The
lot of
bar is
fish
in
in the
hell,
sea.
and that's not our fault.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
It just is. There's not a lot of fish in the sea that are worth catching if I wasn't in the relationship that I'm in. So yeah, it took me a while, and I have days where I'm not comfortable with it, but that's only sometimes. Just not a lot.
It must be such a nice position to be in, though, just to be like, okay,
Yeah.
and like blissful.
Yeah. And that's sometimes I'm like, I know there's other people who are and they don't feel like this, and I sometimes think, should I not be feeling like this? Like, should I not just be like, okay, cool, moving on?
You absolutely should. And it should get to a point where everyone feels like that. Like,
Yeah.
shouldn't be such a thing.
No.
But
No,
did you
absolutely.
feel like because you did have like your friends that you could talk to and stuff, I found when I was sort of coming to terms with it, I found it really helpful not even to like have friends to talk to for advice, but just to have someone to speak to hear myself say it.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
helped so much. Like you need to hear the conversations or your thought process come out of your own mouth, and it makes a world of difference.
And sometimes it's not real until you've actually vocalized those thoughts.
Yeah.
You don't feel like it's real.
Yeah. Or you
Yeah.
don't like accept it until you've said it.
It's like, this is a really bad example to use, but this is the example that it's like, for example, the environment that I work in, I work in healthcare. Everything can suggest that somebody's got a diagnosis of something. And you can look at that and you can go, I think I've got this. But you often find that people don't feel like it's real and that it's cemented, and they don't have those actual emotions about it until somebody else says to them, so you've got this, or so you are this. And that realization of actually hearing the words out loud opens floodgates of a load of different emotions you didn't even know you had.
Yeah.
So yeah, I completely agree. Actually saying the words to someone and having that conversation, because I remember the first time I actually did, sorry, I've got an eyelash in my eye.
It's all right.
The
Fix
first
it.
time I actually had that conversation with someone, and it was two people in the room, and one of them was really blasé about it, and I think that's because it wasn't a true friendship and I don't speak to that person anymore. And it's not over that, it was just natural, didn't happen. But the other person, she was like, whoa, I feel like you've just come out to me. And at that time I didn't think like, oh, it's that big of a deal. But then I think I sat back and realized she's actually probably thinking, you've taken that time to actually say to me that's how you feel. And that probably made it feel real for that person, as well as then whenever I sat back and reflected and I went, oh my God, like I do feel this way, and I've actually turned around and I've said it to somebody. I think at that point, that was the moment that I realized that it was real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when someone else knows, then it is real.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get
Yeah.
that. I was hopeless. I sent my pal a meme.
That's how we communicate, though. We communicate in
It's a love
memes and sending
language.
pictures.
A love language.
It is.
I sent
I
a
don't think
meme
people
and I was
realise
like,
this.
oh, I think this is where we're at. She's like, cool. And then I actually sent a message to, I was having a bit of a, because you know how you have your days where you're like, cool, totally fine with it. And then you have your days where you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I then, it was on one of my imposter syndrome days where I'm like, I think I'm lying. I'm what? No.
Yeah.
And
then
I
you're
just
like, am I?
Yeah. Was that just a hyperfixation? So no, I was having a wobbly day and I had a group chat with Olivia and Chloe at one point, and I messaged the group chat, and it was the dichotomy of friendships. It was brilliant because Chloe was she sent a voice note back. She was very Chloe about it, very pragmatic. She was like, look, it's fine. You know, it's not because I think I described it as an identity crisis. She's like, it's not an identity crisis. It's an identity realization. This is really good. It's like, if you are, you are. That's fine. And then Olivia sent Katy Perry, I Kissed a Girl from Spotify. And I was like, this is great because this is exactly what I need. I need the voice of reason. Yeah. And I need the one who makes it a joke to make it fine.
Yeah. You need that balance.
Great. Friends do play such a huge role. Like if you've got even just one or two people that you can talk to about it.
Yeah.
It can make such a difference. And if there's anyone watching this, I'm here.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, I'm absolutely here if anybody wants to talk about it. And, you know, like, yeah, I probably don't have that much experience, but I'm still a listening ear for somebody to talk to. And
it doesn't matter that's the other thing, like the whole experience thing. It doesn't matter like what experience you have. Mine's minimal.
And if you feel that way, they're your feelings, and, you know, like nobody gets to tell you that they're not your feelings. I think that was the biggest thing that scared me. Actually, like sitting here and thinking this, I've actually just had this realization now while we've been sitting. That was the biggest thing that scared me, was somebody else turning around to me and just going, you're not. Or somebody from the community going, well, you've never been in a relationship with a girl. You've only been in a straight relationship. You're not bisexual. But then those are my feelings and that's how I feel. And, you know, like nobody else is me. Yeah. Nobody can take those feelings away from me.
Yeah, it's about what's going on inside and not what you're doing about it, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, that's a really weird realization I've just had while I've been sitting here. It's like all this conversation has just made me think in my brain. I was like, oh my God, never really thought about that. And I think it's really comforting that we did have a stage where it was something you could have open and honest conversations about, and people were more open about how they felt and how they identified. And I say we did because I feel like in the last year we've hit a real U-turn.
Yeah, huge wall.
Community. And I think that's really sad to watch. You know, I think I had an exposure to it from a younger age when I started secondary school because I went to an all-girls school.
Right, okay.
And I think going to a single gender school, well, I say single gender, there were people in my school who were transgender, so no, it wasn't really a single gender school.
But in the traditional sense, I know what you mean.
Yeah, in the traditional sense, yeah, you know what I mean, I had a lot of exposure to it. And I think that exposure was actually quite, what's the word, like ingraining as I grew up.
Part of your upbringing, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't know any different. And I think because I didn't live in a community where it was shunned or anything like that, and I've never grown up around people who didn't agree with it, it's just normal for me that there are people, you know, within the LGBTQ community like myself and like you that is how we feel, and that's normal. But I know that now it's becoming a whole different sort of thing. Like it's almost becoming not normal again, and I just don't understand why. Like it's not like anybody's ever harmed anyone, and like we got to such a good place, and I just think in my head, what's changed that we have to make this a place, that we have to make it not a safe place for our younger generation who are who are questioning their sexuality, who are identifying as queer, but they just don't know where they are. They don't feel like they've got a place. Why?
Yeah.
And that's why I think pride and conversations like these and education is so important. So important.
And it's not going to like turn anyone. I think if anything, it's just allowing the conversations to happen at a younger age where kids can, if they feel a certain way about something or someone, then they can just understand it better, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No. And education isn't necessarily, it's not telling. I think that seems to be a massive misconception. Is that if you're educating someone on something, you're telling them that they are. So no, if a kid came to me, and I work with children, so I don't get exposed to it a lot because of the environment that I work in, but on the wards and things like that, you have a lot of children who are, like in their mid-teens, who come in, and they might come in for some completely different reason, but you might just be talking to them and they might bring it up in conversation, like that they feel a certain way. They think, oh, like I feel like I might be lesbian, I might be gay, might be pansexual, I might be transgender. And actually engaging in those conversations early, that first 5 minutes that young person starts talking to you might be the most important 5 minutes in their entire queer journey, because you're that first person that they felt like they can be safe with. And if you entertain shutting them down, even for those first 60 seconds, they're not going to want to talk to anybody, and they're not going to feel safe anymore. And that's just giving them that impression straight off. If you take those first couple of minutes to go, okay, tell me about how you're feeling. These feelings are normal to have. And actually directing them to places like Switchboard, who have resources about their feelings and, about different gender, sexuality, queer identities and things like that. That is so important to actually make them feel safe, because that 5 minutes can be the difference between them feeling like they can be open and they can't be open and honest. And that's not telling them. That is just saying your feelings are normal. This is how it could be. This is what you might be feeling and things like that. This is where you can look for more information. And you're not sending them anywhere that they're going to see anything dodgy. They have age appropriate information. And I think what's been really actually heartwarming is I've seen a lot of publications recently that are more young person friendly. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like it's telling them a bit more about it without pushing more adult information against them. It's just in a nice child friendly term for them to look at.
Mm-hmm.
I remember looking at a book when I was at university, and it was about how children come into the world. It's like partially a sex education book, but also like it talked about things like IVF, surrogacy, the fact that you can have mummies and mummies, you can have daddies and daddies, and this is how you came about if you have parents who are gay, lesbian. And that was really heartwarming, actually, because I was like, oh, it's being represented. And that's really good that they can see that information in a way that they'll understand without pushing it against them.
Mm-hmm. Also creates a more accepting environment among other kids as well, like just an understanding of these family dynamics exist, these people exist, just accept people for who they are. Like you're saying, it could be the difference between someone speaking to somebody about it again or not, but long term it can literally be the difference between life and death sometimes. Like
absolutely,
it is that impactful. And the state of how laws and things are going, it is pushing people to the latter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
it
terrifying.
really is. It is. It's scary. And I'm one of them people, I just look at the world and I'm like, why can't we all just be happy, and why can't we all just accept each other?
Mm-hmm.
Like I genuinely just do not understand, and will never understand how hate comes about.
No.
Just
Like,
because you don't agree with somebody else's opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You can disagree with someone without being hateful.
Yeah.
You can just go, okay, that's not my thing. Cool, moving on.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think that's because I come from such a supportive friend support network.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, because I've never been exposed to that sort. Well, I say I've not been exposed within my own personal circle, but it's not that I've not seen it happen. Yeah, but
that got quite deep.
It did, didn't it? Just a little bit. But these conversations need to be had.
They do. They really do. And I do think it comes from just like a fear-mongering place. Like, it's stupid because fear is fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
The only thing that anyone is scared of is something that they don't know realistically. If you think about your deepest, darkest fear, it's because you don't know what's going to happen in that circumstance.
Yeah.
So why we're in the state that we're in now, instead of people just touching grass and opening a book, I'll never understand. Because the information is there for you to educate yourself on. People just refuse to.
All it takes is for one influential person to project their fears on somebody else. And that's it. The whole thing comes crumbling down.
Confirmation bias.
Yes.
Hellish.
Hellish, yeah.
Hold on, let me get my notes. Told you. Oh. Pageantry then.
Yes.
Because the premise of this is sort of mainly because I felt like it seems to be like a theme of just not coming out and drip feeding it to people among us bisexuals.
Yeah.
Just like,
yeah,
there's a thing now. I didn't outwardly be like, hi, new information about me. I just sort of drip fed it, stories, the odd video sent to pals and stuff like that, except for the group chat situation. But it was all fine and dandy among my friends and certain aspects of life. Pageantry was scary. Don't know why, but it just was. So did you have like any reservations about mentioning it within pageantry, or was it just another sort of like, if it trickles on down, then that's fine with me?
I think it was more of a filter trickle down thing. But when I came to my realization, a lot of people like yourselves and other people within pageantry who are bisexual had already come out and had already started being more visible within pageantry.
Okay.
And at that point, I knew that it was okay. It was like other people feel comfortable enough to be open within the community to, like say about their sexual identity. And I was like, so I can as well. I was like, I don't feel like I need to make a big song and dance about it because I feel safe to be able to have that realization. And that's honest. It really is.
Oh, no,
I'm not just saying that. It really is. I think if I hadn't seen that representation at that time, I probably would have felt quite different.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean I would have felt different in a bad way. I think because within pageantry, we put so much of ourselves out there on social media, online for people to see, and so many different people that we don't even know see it. I mean, God knows how many people that are in my followers on my Instagram that I've actually met. Probably not even that many. I'm really sorry. There's a load of dirt bikes coming up my road.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, because we're so out there. Again, like I don't know who half the people in my follow list probably are. Like it's actually quite vulnerable putting yourself out there because you don't know what that other person's view is going to be. But never when I've said anything within pageantry has anybody ever come back to me and gone, oh, you're bisexual, does this mean this, does this mean this? Nobody's ever actually really said anything, unless it's somebody else who's bisexual who's gone like, go on girl, like this is really good to hear and things like that. I've only ever had a positive response. I don't know what it was like whenever you did, but if I hadn't had that representation, I wouldn't have felt safe, is the bottom line. Yeah.
Oh. Oh. Well, that's nice. I'm glad, because that was literally the whole point of this anyway. Because like I say, I don't know why I found it such a intimidating is probably the best word to use.
Yeah.
Part of my life to mention it in, but I think because it is so female heavy, you don't want to change anyone's perception of you.
Yeah.
Like I didn't
I was
suddenly
literally just thinking that.
I was like looking at them in a certain way, or like, because I'm not. Soz gals, love y'all to bits, but no. No. And I was like, right, once I've got comfy with my friends knowing, and then maybe work knowing, but maybe not, but kind of need to, like, work's going to need to know. I mean, they don't need to know for any like legal reason or anything, but like just I'm there every single day for the majority of my day. It's going to come out at some point.
Yeah.
So once I was like comfy with those places, I was like, okay, that's fine. Pageantry's the next one.
Yeah.
And it was literally like, I think I'd been working on Canva, like behind the scenes of it all. And I obviously knew Hannah and Abby and Jen, because Jen had done a video 1,000 years ago on TikTok during Pride when she was Miss Great Britain. And I was like, okay, that's 3 people that I know of. If I reach out to them, then that's a little toe. And once I had their support, I was like, right, it's fine, totally fine. And I remember I had the Canva post for ages before I put it up, and I was like, do you know what? Screw it, just do it. And I posted it, and I was just like, shut my phone. I was like, okay, go make a cup of tea. It's fine. It's fine. And the response was actually so good. There was not one, like you say, not one negative comment. I think what was coming up after that, I think it was the Pageant Girl Weekender, was not long after.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was, because I think I remember seeing your post, and it was not long before the Pageant Girl Weekender.
Yeah, because we recorded the first episode at the Weekender. And I was there, and people that, again, who I don't know. Instagram is a weird place.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
Like, I feel really bad because I'm like, oh, hi. I don't know your name again.
I don't know who you are.
Like, I'll know people, and then I'll see them in person. I'll be like, I know you. Why do I know you?
I know you because I've seen your post on Instagram.
I saw what you're doing on Instagram. I really love it. Or I'm so excited to see this. Or just like little, even just like passing, like very quiet. And I feel like they're the ones that were like, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, just I love that. I'm going to watch it. And then walk away. I'm like, okay, bye. Like, the response was only positive. So,
yeah.
I'm glad that it's helped.
It has.
Yay!
It really has.
I was like, if it helps one person, then I've done my job. So
there you go.
And here she is.
She's here. Yeah.
I love it. Oh, I'm so glad. No, it does feel like a nice big weight off your shoulders, though. Even though I didn't necessarily know that it was there for a very long time. But now I think about certain things in my childhood and in my past, and I'm just like, oh, okay.
That makes sense now.
Yeah.
Makes
perfect sense.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, I feel that. I really do.
I think we've actually covered everything that you put in here.
Beautiful. I didn't think I'd be able to talk for like 45 minutes straight, but apparently it's happened.
Let's get going.
It is.
Nope. We've done it all. Check and check.
Woo!
Oh, it's been a joy. Finally. It was lovely chatting to you.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Bye.
Bye.